Hello, it's Gray Day today, and what better to eat on Gray Day than gray waffles? So we've already made our syrup, and it is just cooling, and we are going to make the actual waffles now. So the first step is going to be sifting all of the siftable ingredients. And now we're going to stir in our sugar. In another bowl, we are going to whisk together the eggs, the milk, the butter, and the vanilla. And then slowly add them into our dry ingredients. Now we're going to add a couple drops of my gel food coloring into the batter to make gray. See? Now we're going to add some of our waffle batter into the waffle machine. I don't want to overfill it because I don't want to waste, but I want to make sure I have a full waffle. Now, it doesn't look too gray. Looks like a bit of a regular waffle, if I'm going to be honest with you. But the insides will be gray, and that's what matters. I know that the original Neopets item is square waffles, but I only have a circular waffle maker, and I'm not buying a waffle maker specifically for this video. I like margarine on my waffles, so I'm going to do that like normal. And then we'll put some of the gray syrup on. The syrup definitely looks black, but it also looks black in the cookbook, so. It's a decent waffle recipe. The syrup is fine. It doesn't taste bad. It's just a little gritty. Overall, it's not bad. It's a good dinner. It's just, yeah.
Let's rate this meal. As always, we rate on aroma, taste, texture, appearance, ease, and I'll give you an average overall rating at the end, which will translate into where this recipe will sit on our tier list. Starting with the aroma. I don't think that waffles generally have a very strong smell when they're cooking. The syrup just smelled like sugar and vanilla, and the waffles just smelled like a waffle, if that makes sense. It wasn't something that made my mouth water or made me excited for dinner, so I'm giving it a 3. Taste-wise, the syrup, though mostly made of sugar, worked pretty well with the waffle, and I didn't find it too sweet. The waffle recipe itself was generic, and I honestly prefer the waffle recipe that I normally use. This gets 3.5 stars. Texture. Oh boy, the texture of the waffle was fine if it was waffle textured. The syrup was a bit tricky though. It only thickened so much on the stove, and it was still quite watery. I was hoping that as it cooled it would thicken more, and it did, but the sugar also recrystallized extremely fast, making the syrup gritty. It wasn't like eating something like sand, more like when you sprinkle cinnamon sugar on a piece of toast, but it definitely wasn't what I was expecting. By the time it was completely cooled off, I could physically remove it from my waffle, which honestly seemed a little concerning. I wasn't a fan. I'm giving the texture 2.5 stars. Appearance-wise, I'm a little sad it wasn't more gray. I'm not entirely sure how the team who took pictures for the cookbook got their waffles to be so gray. You are most definitely going to get browning from the waffle maker. The inside was gray, and the syrup was a dark color that we can call gray if we imagine really hard. I'm giving appearance 3 stars. This recipe is extremely easy. It even has a note on how to make the waffles into pancakes if you don't have a waffle iron, so I'm going to give this 5 stars for ease. The average score is 3.4, which puts the gray waffle recipe from the Neopets cookbook at a B, and it goes right between our biscotti and the farmer's lunch on the tier list. Thank you all for joining me for Gray Day and another recipe. I hope that you had a great time, and let me know in the comments what your favorite Neopets gray food is. Bye!